Well, good afternoon, and welcome to this week's edition of Drive Facebook Live. I'm Bob Spitz, your host, along with Tony Whistler, my co-host. And our special guest today is David Goldsmith from Urban Classics in Brooklyn, New York, along with his coach, his consultant, Karla. These are old friends of mine. Welcome, David. Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here. Thank you,
Good to
Bob.
see you.
Yeah.
Good to see everyone.
For those who don't know you, David, why don't you just tell them a little bit about you, your shop, your location, all that?
Sure. Well, Urban Classics Auto Repair. We've been operating in Brooklyn for the last, I think, 37 or 38 years, just a few years. We've moved a few times in Brooklyn due to the high cost of real estate. Our first place is now a condominium complex. The second place we were in, it became an ice cream factory, like a restaurant, ice cream place. And now we're permanently and we were down by the Brooklyn Bridge. And now we're in we're in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and a little bit farther into Brooklyn. And we're in a 7,500 square foot space with 11. We have 11 bays. We have, it's been a struggle through the pandemic years finding staff. We used to run, 6 and 7, sometimes even eight technicians. Now we've been operating with 4 techs and a helper. We're happy to welcome a 5th tech finally to help with the high demand for our services. We do about we're grossing about 270,000 a month. We're very, very, very busy shop. Managing the flow has always been a challenge, especially with the pandemic. We were always busy before. We got even busier when people figured out that they didn't want to ride the subways and buses, public transportation, and car ownership in the city has, skyrocketed. So,
Car ownership in Manhattan?
All over the city, all over.
Really?
Yeah. To the point where now we're dealing with the issue of congestion pricing. They're talking about it because there's a lot of gridlock going on. Parts of Brooklyn we used to drive around in just 4 years ago, take you 10 minutes. Now it takes you half hour, 45 minutes, almost as bad as LA.
I was going to say, you seem to be like LA.
Yeah.
Because the old joke in LA is, I'm in a hurry, I better walk.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That's it. So, so we're, extremely busy and just happy to be here and share some of the things we do to stay so busy.
Fantastic. Well, it's great to have you. For those who don't know Brooklyn is made up of neighborhoods or districts. And as David was saying, he's in Bedford-Stuyvesant, which is near Pratt University, but there's other areas, and the total population of Brooklyn, I can't even begin to imagine what it is now.
I think we're right now a little over 3 million just in our borough alone.
In Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, yeah. It's we have, and I should say, we have a lot of customers that come from pretty much all parts of Brooklyn and even Manhattan and the other boroughs. I mean, it's a big city, we appreciate the fact, we have a couple of customers that come to us all the way from the Bronx. They travel a long distance.
Really? Across the bridge?
They drop their car off and they have to take 3 trains and a bus to get home. But
that's dedication.
Yeah, that's dedication. Yep.
Well, to have that kind of dedication and loyalty by a customer, you've got to be doing a lot of things right. And David, as you and I were talking, the feeling of New York, and one of the things that I said I lost when I moved to Los Angeles was that feeling of neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Brooklyn is very much made up of neighborhoods, and that desire to do business with somebody
Exactly. It's funny you use the word neighborhood because in one of our slogans is your neighborhood alternative to dealership quality service.
Yeah.
And that's, that's really, what we try to, provide for our customers, a real, a people know it personal relationship with our customers, and they feel like part of, we're part of the community, they're part of our community. And that's really, but at the same time, they're going to get a very, very high level of service, and that's what people come to us for.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Now, let's talk about some of in order to do the numbers you're doing and to support even 5 technicians, you've got to have a heck of a car count.
Yeah, yeah. And what of course we do a lot of the standard procedures. We work with my shop manager now, Bolt On and Auto Vitals, and we're doing a lot of reaching out in terms of staying in touch with our customers digitally, through the internet and stuff. And they get emails and reminders and texts and stuff like that. Um, and of course, reminding people if there are recommendations for their cars. But the other thing that we do, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun there, but when we're talking about the way we follow up with our customers, it's really, I think it's a critical, developing that relationship with a customer of, with where there's a high level of trust, and where we communicate to our customers that we care about them. We really care about them, and they get that. We don't just say it, they get that feeling, not just by things we might say, but what we do. And one of the things that we do to show that we care, and I got this idea actually from our dog's veterinarian, is the follow-up phone call. I never, we in Drive, we talk about, following up,
I'm
with
sure Karla
customers.
told you to do it more than once.
Oh yeah, more than a few times. And
No.
not that I don't listen to Karla. I do. Um, she has a very big ruler. We all know about that. But it really came to me. We brought our dog in just for a normal checkup, and he got his shots. And the next day, the phone's ringing, and I see on the caller ID it's our veterinarian. I'm going, why is he calling me? So I pick up the phone. They said, "Oh, hi, is there anything wrong?" I said, "Well, no, we're just calling to see how little Miko's doing after his shots." I said, "Well, is there something I'm supposed to be worried about?" They said, "No, but we just wanted to call, make sure that Miko's well, and also that you are happy, with the service that we gave you, and that and just like to let you know that we really appreciate you, choosing us." And I was like blown away. I said, "Wow," that just felt like, wow, these people really care. Oh my
Yeah.
God, why did
Yep.
they, and they did that every time we brought the animal in. And I thought, why can't we do that? And we started to do it. It took us a while to kind of craft a consistency of it. I used to ask my service writers to just do it, and they would do it quite inconsistently.
Mhm.
Um, we got real busy. They wouldn't have the time. They didn't make the time. Karla told me I should make them make the time, but we never seemed to be able to do that, to make it consistent. And in their meager defense, we do get very, very busy. And we finally decided that we were gonna. I had a friend that was a good friend that was really great on the phone and very good, personable person. And he really was always impressed by our level of customer service. I said, "Hey, Ron, how'd you like a part-time job?" He said, "What do you got in mind?" Well, every time anybody came to our shop, when we create an invoice for the customer, we create an extra invoice for Ron, and it gets, nowadays it's all remote. He's got a phone that has a caller ID that says Urban Classics, and he calls. We emailed all those invoices to Ron, and he calls each and every one of the customers. He calls them, he texts them, and just to say, just like asking about little Miko, right? He's going,
Right.
"Hey, you were in your," And he's over the years, he's gotten to know these folks, and these folks have gotten to know him. And it's been incredibly powerful. Like customers are just ecstatic
That's
that
amazing.
that we like, wow, these guys really, a lot of people say that they care, but these guys are taking the time to call us, and they expect a phone call. I have my customers that come and they said, um, they'll say, I guess I'm going to be hearing from Ron in a few days, but they've got their, and
So,
Ron's
but
gotten to know the grandkids and all the different things, and he reports back to the shop. All the good, every week I get a report from him on how many calls he made, how many were successful that he got through, how many people he left texts for, and the feedback, both positive and if there is negative. It's so powerful when if that little rattle in Mr. Smith's car is still there, but he gets a phone call from Ron asking, and how's things with the car? And we said, well, I think I still hear that. So, well, I'll have John give you a call, or, our service writer, and people just feel cared for.
that's the key right there, that there's some
Right.
little problem there.
Yeah,
But so instead of asking how little Mika's doing, they're asking how little the little Miata's doing.
exactly.
Which for a lot of people is your little Mika.
Yes, exactly. And
Exactly.
I think listen, we message that and people feel that with our service writers, people, I mean, the care factor is so important, but I think it's accentuated by, a personal phone call and another relationship with the Urban Classics family. Ron is part of the family and they know it. And it really, our customers are extremely loyal to us.
I have a quick question for you about how you structure paying him. Do you pay him per call, or because obviously he's kind of almost freelancing, right? He's not on the clock, is he?
Yeah. No, I give him a set amount a week. Ron does other things for us with marketing. He's actually my liaison with the Drive folks who handle our website, and if we have any issues with Auto Vitals or my shop manager, Ron handles all that kind of stuff. So he gets a set amount every week, and I mean, he's
happy and it works.
Oh yeah. I
Great.
mean, and he stays on task, and like I say, we get a weekly report from him, and that gives us the details of the of his work. And now they all our customers also get that, and a lot of our shops, right? We were all in the world of the internet age. So, we generate those automatic, surveys, the ones that ask for the Google reviews and all that stuff. Everybody gets that. And people kind of expect to get that, but the extra phone call and the text from a human being that they know is pretty important. Somebody
by
took
the
the
way,
time.
I want to emphasize something just to make a point. I remember at one point you were thinking about doing a text blast,
Right.
and then you send it out by accident.
Yeah.
Oh, the test went out by accident?
The text,
The text.
David hit it by accident. And I remember their reaction, just to emphasize the loyalty, because it was kind of like,
Oh,
they were ready
now I know what
yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
I mean, this was during the pandemic, right, Carl? This was during the pandemic, and everybody was shut down. And we were trying to figure out, like, a lot of people thought we were closed. New York City, everybody knows we got hit pretty bad. We were losing like 1,000 people a day. We lost a lot of customers. People in our neighborhood. I lost 5 people on my block that died from this. And, the city was like, it was like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
And,
Jim Staley sent us a picture of Times Square.
yeah,
It looked like
yeah,
a science
yeah.
fiction story.
Yeah, it looked like science fiction. And so at one point we were like, okay, maybe we send out a text. And we had and I think I did, yeah, I hit it
By
by
accident. Yeah.
and people were calling us like, well, I'm so glad you guys are okay. And like, if you need business, like I must need something. I must need something. I haven't driven my
That's
car,
great.
but that's the time, right, Karla?
Right,
If it is-
right.
I know I was just there, but I'll bring it. Let me see. Didn't you recommend anything? Okay, I'll bring it in. And for real, it was like, it was like, what's going
Oh,
on
good.
here? But people, because they never got a text like that before, like, because we're usually pretty heavily booked and it's not that we don't promote, but they just, people got the sense that maybe we were in trouble. And
They're there to
They
help.
were ready to help.
oh
They
yeah,
were like, whatever it takes.
and it was
great.
That
very,
was pretty memorable, because
yeah, I mean, it really, it meant something. And you realize that how much you mean to people. Just, not only, sometimes people, my family says, you're like the auto psychiatrist. You're part of their family, right? You're part of
That's
their
that relationship we're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. And people talk about cold-hearted New Yorkers. New York, no, people want to feel that connection. And in
Sure.
fact, and really, and when you deliver that, it means a lot.
Well, that's the point. It's not just a slogan for you.
Right.
It's not a marketing catchphrase. I
Right.
mean, you demonstrate, and public
Right.
relations is demonstrating that goodwill and showing people that it's you walk the walk, not just
Exactly.
talk the talk. By the way, some of your friends are saying hi. Ron from Toe Force said hi.
Oh,
And
hello.
Kevin Reichert from Stellars.
Oh, Kevin.
Okay. Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
Yeah.
And on the other
Kevin.
side of the world, up by me, Dave Jennerjohn says hi.
Oh my gosh, yes. Hey, how's the fishing up there, Dave?
Yeah. That's what Dave is always worried about. Go after them salmon.
Yep. Yep. All right.
So we were talking about, CRM, customer retention marketing, is also customer relationship marketing. And you really demonstrate that in working that customer base and keeping them loyal to you. What are you doing to attract new customers? Because obviously everybody's got to do that, because people move, they die,
Right.
they leave.
Yeah. Well, I have to say in our market in New York City, aside from the word of mouth, which is still very, very important, and I learned in Drive a long time ago that, if you're ever having a trouble with car count, first of all, you got to look at your quality control,
right,
and make sure that your quality control is in place. So, we work very hard to keep our quality control process in place. But then in our market, I have to say, Google and Yelp and all this stuff. I'm an old guy, I had to really wrap my brain around this, but it surely wasn't the Yellow Pages anymore. And so the Google reviews and all of that stuff is pretty powerful. I'm not doing a commercial for Drive here, but Drive handles my Google pay-per-clicks and stuff like that, and handled it quite well. And we depend on that. We actually noticed when we were doing it in a little bit more of a haphazard way on our own. Literally, our new customer stat would drop off when our budget for the Google pay-per-clicks would cut off like in the middle of the month. We just
Right.
like, why did that happen? And so in New York, it worked. It's very powerful. So we do
Well,
have
the demographics of Brooklyn, especially your area, I'd imagine is fairly young.
Yeah, and they're, you know,
Yeah.
Yep,
the dumb
there it
phones. I
is.
mean, smartphones. Yeah. I don't know if they make people smarter, but or worse. But
No, for me, it's the dumb guy with the smartphone.
yeah,
That's
there you
right.
go. That's it.
The
But
phone
yeah,
is smarter, but I'm dumber.
yeah. So, you know, the reviews, you know, you know, people with our software, like when people get surveyed, like when they pay for their work, you know, they automatically get this thing and they get say, hey, and if you'd like to leave us a review, please do so. Um and our reviews are, you know, very good. We work very hard to take good care of people. But you know, Bob, you and I were talking about even some of our bad reviews. I've gotten a lot of customers from the few bad reviews that we've gotten. Everybody gets them, right?
Oh yeah.
And I had this one guy who turned out to be an awesome customer of ours who's got an A8, and you shop owners know what an A8 means. That means a high average repair,
Oh
a
yeah.
very high ticket.
That's a cha-ching.
Yeah, and he loves, he wants to keep the car spectacular. And he walked in one day, it was the first time he came in. He saw us on Google and he asked for me by name. He says, "This is David Goldsmith. I want to meet this guy, David Goldsmith." And there I was in the office, and I said, "Hi." He says, "I'm here because of that scathing review you got." And I looked at him, I said, "Well, I was trying to figure that one out." Yeah, you know that guy with the Volvo that found your tech with his girlfriend in his car eating his lunch in the customer's car.
Right. Yeah.
I said,
A
"Oh yeah, I
bozo
remember
nozo.
that one." He says, "Well, you took the time to answer this guy, and you took responsibility. You talked about process in your shop when things go wrong, shop meetings, this, that, and the other thing." He says, I was just like, wow." And then I saw all the great reviews, and I said, "Wow, these guys really are on top of it. They use that word again. He said they actually care. They actually care what people think about
That's
them."
right. It's not just a slogan.
And I've had more than a couple of reviews, that were not so great, but you take the time and you use all the good best practices of how to handle somebody on the internet, that's not happy with your service. Some of these guys, they give you a review that's like 50 pages long,
All
So
the writers in New York.
yeah,
all,
yeah.
all the writers, exactly.
But I always make sure if they send 50, I'm going to send 51.
Right.
So issue
Well,
by issue, down
yeah, I'd
the.
like to talk about that, the importance of responding to both good and bad
Oh,
reviews.
both good. Oh, yeah.
Is Ron doing that for you?
Ron does some of them. Some of them he responds. Some of them he says he'll tell me, like, Dave, you should answer this one. Like if there are some that that like people that I know that I just have a certain special relationship with. Now we're a AAA authorized repair shop. Only one of two in Brooklyn. So
Wow.
one guy's got 1.5 million, and I got the other 1.5 million. And they're very exclusive in New York City. They're very
They protect your territory.
yeah, and AAA they want to monitor your reviews, and they use SureCritic. I'm sure a lot of folks in Drive use SureCritic. I'm not thrilled with SureCritic, but they are I have to if I'm going to stay at AAA shop. So SureCritic manages that, and SureCritic now, I don't know if anybody knows this, but they have AI
Oh, really?
answering some of these things.
Oh,
I don't
I bet
wow.
they do.
at all. I really don't like that at all.
No.
So you got to review them and edit them if you want. And I have really mixed feelings about that because I think again it's the personal touch. So it's not just answering the bad reviews, but the good ones. And when you answer somebody and like Barbara sends a review, blah, 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 saying something really nice, and you answer back mentioning something like, wow, I'm really glad we got that noise that was driving you crazy in the right rear. I'm so happy that everything worked out well. You say something specific about them, about their life. Hey, and congratulations on the new grandchild, Thanks for the 5 stars, Bill, and congratulations on that new grandchild. Wow.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
acknowledgement.
yeah, it's not the robo, thank you for your,
Yeah.
So I think the personal touch is pretty important.
Oh, by the way, another friend of yours, John Starkey, says hello.
Oh, all the way in
John.
Hawaii.
Yeah, he took a break from surfing just to say hello.
Yeah.
There you go. We always imagine him on the beach with his
John,
smartphone.
stay away from the sharks, hey.
Watching. Yeah. So the thing I noticed that you said about having a positive response from a negative, having a negative review and positively responding, and then someone came in, that is the key. You realize that when you're responding to someone who's upset, you're not just responding to them, but you're actually letting everyone who reads those reviews see what kind of business you're running. And that was just a beautiful example, because the person went, this guy knows what he's doing.
You want to hear something really funny? That guy who caught my tech, who I've since fired, in fact, right after that incident, in my customer's car having lunch with his girlfriend, that customer who says he was going to destroy me.
Oh,
right.
He was going to take me down.
Ooh.
And Yelp, Google, everywhere he could, whoa, right? About 1.5 years later,
he shows up, doesn't he?
He shows up. He said, he calls me. He said, I'm having a trouble with nobody else. Would you take a look at my power steering? I said, bring it on then. And I took care of him. And he was
we have a special rate for you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Nobody could believe I took him back, but I actually did. And he was very he actually,
Well, that's very classy. That's very classy.
He came around and he said, I was just really pissed off, and it really was bad. And when I've talked about it with other people, and they say, well, yeah, but he took responsibility, and that guy doesn't even work there anymore. It's like all these things. And he said, yeah, I said, and maybe the fact that nobody else could fix the car. You came back.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that had something to do with it, but it's all good. It's all
That's
good.
Great. Tony, I think we need a station break here, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to take a little break. We're going to talk a little bit about next week. Next week, Christoph Schopfer is going to be with us from Euro Motors.
Somebody else
California, yeah.
Second generation.
Yep, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how he took over the shop from his father and his journey as an owner. So that'll be what we have a conversation about. So please check in on that. And then, of course, do not forget, we have an expo coming up in June, right behind you there in Dallas. And we absolutely want to have you there. That is the event of the year, absolutely, for Drive. And if you've never been to a Drive Expo, you will not regret going.
That's right. You just got to go.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Hey, Karla, you have a very elite group of clients, David being one of them, and a lot of them belong to your 20 group, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, and David is part of the top 20.
We are the shop supers.
Is that the name? Is that your y'all's group name?
Yeah,
the Shop Supers?
Yes. Yes.
Although in New York, supers, it refers to the guy who takes care of the building.
Yeah, that's a super.
Fixes the elevator.
That's along with his honor.
Yeah.
You guys chose the name. Leave me out of that one.
Yeah. No.
David, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure, and congratulations on your success, and let 2024 be just everything you can imagine it can be.
We're ready.
All righty.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Karla,
thank you.
Karla, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
So from Drive Facebook Live, thank you so much for attending. Tony, I think we're done. This is a wrap.
We're out. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.